Hey everyone, it's Jeannie, and oh my god, the new Fatui trailer just dropped. It revealed all the Fatui Harbingers, and oh my god. I am so in love. I cannot stress this enough. Like, dude, I was in love with Dottore already. I knew he was gonna be my favorite character from the start, just from reading the manga. Like, sure, his design was a little silly, but oh my god, the deal has been sealed. I am in love with this guy. He is my future husband. And don't even get me started on Pantaloon. His name is like ridiculous, but let's be honest, his face makes up for it. He is perfect. But anyway, all of that being said, so lately I've kind of seen some theories about how Pierro could be related to Khaenri'ah and could be Kaya's future uncle, or not future uncle. I don't know if that was a theory or a headcanon, but there was something about Pierro and Kaya, so I'm not really sure what that is. But I have my own theory on Pierro, and I don't think that he's related to Khaenri'ah. I mean, I do see the potential, but my theory is that he might actually have closer ties to Sumeru than Khaenri'ah. And the reason for me thinking this is actually related to the Mocking Mask artifact. So I'm going to take you guys through a theory about what could possibly happen if Pierro was one of the main antagonists in Sumeru. Let's begin. So one of the predominant clues that we've acquired about Sumeru is that there has lately been a push for quote-unquote folly. We hear this from Dainsliff during the Tavat trailer, and also from Yae Miko at the end of the Inazuma Archon quest. After doing some digging, I've come to the conclusion that this push for folly has been insinuated by a Fatui member, one that we haven't actually seen in the game yet. I think that this so-called push for folly was sparked by the Jester, Pierro, number one of the Fatui Harbingers himself. Now, to clarify very quickly, I'm positive that we're going to see Dottore and Sakuramush in Sumeru. With that being said, I'm also positive that we're going to see Child and Pierro as well. Think about it. In the first Archon quest, the Traveler, and by extension us the players, meet Signora, number 8 of the Fatui Harbingers. She ventures to Mondstadt alone, probably because the Tesserista didn't deem Mondstadt's absentee deity a threat, and figured that one of her Harbingers was more than enough to deal with it. In Chapter 2, we meet Child, who orchestrates Osial's release, but at the end, Signora makes a surprise appearance to retrieve Zhongli's Gnosis and fulfill his end of the pact made with the Tesserista. This brings the total number of Fatui present during the Leeway story arc to 2. The number then increases by 1 in the third Archon quest, this time featuring Signora, Sakuramush, and Child, even though Child only made appearances in web events. If you still haven't figured out the pattern, let me spell it out for you. Each quest number, note, I don't mean the in-game number since Mondstadt is technically considered the prologue, but is chronologically the first Archon quest we play through. Each quest number correlates to the number of Fatui seen in that chapter. Mondstadt 1, Leeway 2, Inazuma 3, and Sumeru will have 4, if the pattern holds up, which I really hope it does. Sakuramush has already been leaked to be the boss fight. No doubt Child will also appear, but maybe he'll be demoted to web events again, who knows. This leaves us with 2 empty slots. I'm willing to bet that Dottore, the Mad Doctor with close ties to Sumeru Academia, will fill one of said slots. Obviously, we know this from the trailer. We literally know this from everything. I mean, it's pretty much evident in the manga as well. The second will, hopefully if I'm right, go to Pierro the Jester. For the rest of this video, I'll be explaining why Pierro is the most likely candidate for one of the main Sumeru antagonists. The Pale Flame artifacts are canonically related to the stories about 5 Fatui members: Signora, Dottore, Pantaloon, Pierro, and Sakuramush. I'll be dissecting the Mocking Mask artifact and analyzing how this ties Pierro in with Sumeru. First, let's start with a declaration to state the obvious and previously stated. The Jester is one who seeks laughter, be it at the expense of himself or others. The strive for folly in Sumeru can be seen as a metaphor for shallow laughter and joy brought on by said Jester. I mean, who better to bring folly to the land of scholars than a literal clown himself? I mean, he's a very handsome clown, don't get me wrong. I would totally marry him, but a clown nevertheless. The only loose thread this leaves is why. Well, we actually get an explanation for this in the form of the Mocking Mask. For the next part, I'll be reading the description from the Mocking Mask artifact and then giving my own analysis on it. A mask that covers the face, hiding one's expression from others. Since the stain of my compatriot's blood cannot be cleansed, I shall become the Jester, who laughs in the face of fate. Since my level of learning could not compare with the sages, I failed to earn the favor of the previous ruler. The declaration starts off with Pierro monologuing about his past, how he's done something that's drawn the blood of his compatriots, which is another word for fellow countrymen. Now, we're not told what caused this and what role Pierro played in this, but one assumption can be that Pierro either knowingly or unknowingly caused some sort of chain of events that led to the death of his countrymen. Whatever it was obviously made Pierro the recipient of the full blame, labeling him a fool, a mess-up, or, as he later declares himself, a jester. The monologue then goes on to state that he never could keep up with the academic prowess of the sages. Sidebar real quick, this line always made me think that Pierro wasn't as academically gifted as the other sages, and thus was labeled a clown by them and maybe even the Sumeru academia as a whole, which is a great metaphor for the burden of academic achievement that we place on people. Those who don't get perfect grades or earn scholarships right out of high school are discarded and labeled as lazy, clowns, and screw-ups, and so on. And I think that in the Sumeru chapter, we're really going to see about all the wrongs and rights of the education system and how all that pressure really isn't good for anyone. Anyway, I'm done with the little rant now. Again, due to his lower level of learning, Pierro says that he could never earn the favor of the previous ruler. So technically, we know that every country in Teyvat, with the exception of Mondstadt and Liyue, had a change in Archon. But the only country where this change in leadership is emphasized is Sumeru. I mean, the Tesseract is one of the Archons that gets mentioned the most, and we know she isn't the original Cairo Archon. But we only know this because of something Venti said in passing during the prologue. It's never mentioned again, and we know nothing about the previous Cairo Archon. But every time Sumeru is mentioned, we're told that Kusanali... Oh my god, there's a huge ant in my room. That is horrifying. Anyway, every time that Sumeru is brought up, we're told that Kusanali is the youngest, and that there previously used to be another Archon of Wisdom, but something happened to him, and so he changed. The point of the matter is that for Sumeru, the change in Archon is this really, really big plot hole, or I guess this very important thing that keeps getting brought up. That's why I think that when Pierro says that he could never earn the favor of the previous ruler, this emphasized that he's talking about Sumeru, or Sumeru's previous Archon, as opposed to, I don't know, Khaenri'ah or some other nation. Now, I know what you're all going to say, but Genie, the Archon of the Woods, died 500 years ago. But canonically, Senora is 800 years